Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of season 2 of Hooper's Delight. As you can see, we got a little different environment here, if you will. We got to give a shout out to our boys and ladies over at CHURRO Bros. Shout out to the Hope family. We are doing this episode in none other than my wifey's favorite dessert spot in all of Idaho, maybe in all of the world, and that's CHURRO Bros. So let's give a shout out to CHURRO Bros. Obviously, we got Eagle Ridge Apparel as well. Shout out to the Swenson family, all the flames. Check out the link in the bio on the Instagram page. Support the cause. Go get yourself some flames. If I see you with the flames on out in public, you're getting on the camera. Tune in tomorrow or every Monday night, I guess, for Key's Corner. We got the Spicy Takes. IK PICA, another sponsor. Shout out Miss Carla, the world's top salsa. We will get more information on Miss Carla's world famous salsa here soon. Check out Key's Corner every Monday night for those episodes. And then, of course, we got She Gone, which is, you know, the mindset. And I'm going to hand this over to you. You can explain that a little bit, and then we'll talk about these drippy fits we got.
So we're going to talk about She Gone. So this is Isaiah Harwell, who is at Houston right now, Houston University. For those that don't know, he's from Pocatello, Idaho, and he was a McDonald's All-American. And a little story about Zay is his junior year, he ended up tearing his ACL midway through the season and was missed all of his club season for the spring after that, and then part of his beginning of his senior year. And to go into his She Gone, and he could have sat there and dwelled on it and let it tear him apart, but instead, She Gone, he worked hard, got back into his caliber of talent, which is one of the best players to ever come out of the state of Idaho, and then he ended up being a McDonald's All-American. So for you guys that are going through these injuries, we've handed out shirts to y'all are lucky that I'm injured to a bunch of players this year that have missed the season and whatnot. And so for you guys, you know, it's a She Gone moment. You can either dwell in the past or you can move forward. And that's something that we want to preach. We want our kids and everybody that is a part of what we're doing to know that, you know, you don't have to dwell in the past. You can move forward, and it's your mindset that gets you to the next level. That's something that Isaiah Harwell did, ended up being a McDonald's All-American and then a top player in the country, now at Houston. And, you know, Houston is one of the top teams in the country. So, and then to touch on that too, we decided to collab with both teammates that played at Utah Prospects together, Julian Bowie, who was another one of our guys who endured a grave loss of his father. And we wanted to just give him a shout out onto our pod. And he's a very important person in his community, and another She Gone moment where he can either dwell on it, but he's decided to rise to the occasion and continue to move forward. And we want you guys to know that your life and your identity is not found within the game of basketball as much as we love it. You are found by your character. You are found by how you treat others. You are found about the good and the positive things that you bring to this world. And we've decided, you know, with Hooper's Delight, to be a light and be a light to you guys. And we wanted to shout out these two guys because they both experienced a lot of adversity in their life and they've overcame it. And that's part of, you know, our sponsorship with She Gone, is, you know, we want to move forward. And so we wanted to shout out these two guys. They're club teammates, two of the top talents that we've seen in the state of Idaho over the last couple of years, or probably ever. And so, you know, going from that, we want to also talk about the churros.
Come on now. So here we go. Coach Key was having trouble not eating them all up before we started. But these folks, this is course number 1. We're going to take you through a couple courses. We want to highlight CHURRO Bros as best we can. This is course number 1. We're going to go through 4 courses as we talk about different things. Obviously, this is the girls state tournament episode. We've got boys 6A SIC districts we're going to talk about as well. That'll be a course, and then we'll finish strong. So this is course number 1. You can check out the mini churros here. You got the dulce de leche sauce. You got the Bavarian cream, one of my favorites. And we are going to go ahead. I'm going to set this over here to the side. And when course number 2 is ready, we will have that out for you, because we got to give you guys an up close and personal on what you've been missing out on. And that's the world's greatest dessert. So once again, shout out to the Hope family doing this in CHURRO Bros, man. What an amazing experience to be able to change settings and just work with our sponsors the way we have and just connect with them and build relationships with them. It's been so much fun. So let's talk about the girls state tournament. We got lots to talk about. We're going to do some predictions. Then we'll go over to the boys SIC 6A district tournament. But Eagle beats Boise. They right the ship from last year, and they beat Boise girls in the district tournament championship. Once again, they lost to them last year in the district tournament, then went to state, lost 2 in a row. So kind of fell off the rails at the end of the year. They right that ship. They're rolling right now. Real quick, while we get course number 2 ready, Tell me about what you thought about the district championship game. Berkeley Jones averages 33 a game in districts, pops off. Tell me what you thought about that game.
So I attended the game, got to sit courtside, and it was at the beginning, Libby Nelson was doing exactly what we thought she was going to do. She came out swinging and she was fighting for the Boise Braves. And one thing about their team is that they're not done. And we talked about it in our other episode, and as well as on Key's Corner, that this game was more important for Eagle than it was for Boise. And I don't think that this knocks off Boise's momentum at all. Eagle has been rolling. They have been on a flamethrower right now. Berkeley Jones is one of those players that is one of the best players in the state and is competing for Gatorade Player of the Year and most likely will be the SIC Player of the Year. But watching the game, what I realized the Eagle has is that they have so many weapons, and when they play together and they move the ball, they're unstoppable. And that's something that we've seen, and that's something that we've said. They have the most talented roster. They have positions in depth that no other team really has. And when they're playing how they were, their defense from Taya Nelson to Ryan Ellsworth to Isabel Elletharp, those girls were bringing just a force on the defensive end. And if you watch the beginning of the game, Izzy, who had 2 major blocks that set the tone for the pace of that game, and then they were in transition, just flying around. And then obviously the ball was moving. Millie Mitchell hit 2 threes. Berkeley Jones hit 5 straight threes and had 28 for the game. Trinity Holsinger pulled up from 30 feet and cashed it out. So those girls had everybody contributing. Ryan Ellsworth with a step back 3. So they had multiple players that were contributing on the offensive side. And then one thing I want to touch on is something that I noticed from one of their senior leaders, Bella Thompson, that her leadership that she's had bringing these girls together, she could have easily been one of those players that gets upset with the success of her teammates, but instead she encourages it. She moved the ball and she had a great game, hitting multiple threes, getting multiple layups, playing in transition, controlling the tempo of the game, and her overall leadership. She has given those younger girls, these younger players, so much confidence. And for those of you that are watching this, you guys got to understand sometimes your role may change throughout the course of the season, especially as a senior. But as a senior and you're a captain, you have to lead, and that's what Bella does. And that's what she's been doing all year. And for those girls at Eagle, she's been such a significant piece because of how good of a teammate that she's been and starring in her role, which is another thing that we've talked about. And so I wanted to give her flowers because she deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. She was unbelievable. Hit open. She got him going early, hit a shot early, and it was really impressive. We'll talk more about Eagle here in just a minute. While I grab course number 2 over here, we got the horseshoe bend with the sprinkles. Look at this. We got it's not just churros, folks. It's ice cream. It's whipped cream. It's the sprinkles with the warm churros. It's different. It hits different. Coach DM's in the background right now wanting me to bring this back to him. That's not going to happen. You can wait a second, Coach. But this is the horseshoe bend, and it's better than it looks, if you can imagine that. So this is course number 2 as we get into the girls' state tournament. I'm going to grab my bracket right here. You can see the bracket up on the TV. Shout out for the extra effort from our guy Trenton Hope right there. Let's start I'm going to run through the teams, and we'll talk about matchups, and we'll go through and we'll do predictions, talk about, the top hoopers in the state. What we got is, it looks like an IK PICA type bracket. You got some spicy matchups.
Yep.
In the first round. We got Eagle playing Madison, who they lost to in the first round last year.
Yep.
We'll touch on that game, of course. Coeur d'Alene with Brooksley Colvin on the same side as Eagle. Berkeley Jones, Brooksley Colvin, possibly 1-2, 1A, 1B in the Gatorade Player of the Year conversation. Coeur d'Alene has to play Bora, who got in after losing to Rocky in the first round of districts, found a way, and they got in. So Coeur d'Alene will play Bora in the 4-5 matchup on the same side as Eagle Madison. Then we got Middleton, who's getting healthy, playing Timberline, who got in. Middleton Timberline, a spicy matchup, and then Rigby, undefeated from back east, running into a Boise team that, even though they lost that game, like you said, has to be feeling good about themselves. That might be my favorite matchup. I don't know. Coeur d'Alene, Bora, Rigby, Boise, those are going to be fun to watch. Cannot wait to watch those games. I'm going to be watching them from Vegas. I'll be on vacation. Apologies to the ladies. Got to prioritize my baby girls, my wife, my family. We got a soccer tournament out there that my daughter was invited to play in, so I won't be there. I will be on NFHS, posting highlights, keeping up with these guys. So, Key, Eagle Madison, can Eagle right the ship once again after what happened last year? Madison's got Mia Walsh, Division I volleyball player, going to Idaho State, multiple time state champion with the Madison Bobcat volleyball team, who's always the best in the state. They lost in the state championship this year to Skyview, who is obviously a dynasty.
Right.
So, can Eagle beat Madison? Will they right the ship as a number 1 seed?
I think so. I think right now the level that they're playing at is just, there's not a lot of teams that can match their firepower because they have so much depth. They can play 1 through 10. And even when they give, some of the seniors that haven't gotten much playing time in at the end, they can also contribute as well. So for me, how they've been playing right now, I don't think there's a hotter team in the state, and they've caught the right momentum and the right fire at the right time. Birdley Jones has been stellar, and she's one of those players that, to me, work ethic has pushed her over way better than she was last year, and she's continued to improve. I did hear that she was shooting 48% from 3, so you can't leave her open now. And we've seen her hit 8 threes. We've seen her hit 5 threes in the fourth quarter now. And when she's going and she's passing and she's getting everybody involved and the ball's coming back around to her, Eagles unstoppable right now. They have her, Taya Nelson, Trinity Holsinger, Millie Mitchell, Izzy Ellithart, Ryan Ellsworth, Brielle Lake. They have so many girls and so much firepower that, for me, it's like, does Madison have enough to compete with them? Yeah. And, they're going to make it a game. But at the same time, last year when Eagle lost to Boise, they came and wrote that ship. Now this year, they're getting the same matchup that they had last year. And I feel like they're going to write this one right again.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said earlier, the way Bella Thompson is leading and the way these girls are together, sharing the ball. Like you said at the start of the year when I talked to you, you said when Eagle shares the ball, they are unbeatable in the state of Idaho. And we've seen that. That's what's been happening. And they're sharing the ball. And Berkeley averaged 33 a game in the district tournament while sharing the ball.
Right.
It makes the game easier. It's not as difficult. You don't have to force as much. And then once again, Ellsworth and Ellithart defensively, for me,
monsters.
I'm already excited for what the Eagles going to look like next year when those two step up into bigger roles, when Ellsworth is going to be starting, because she would start on any other team in the state, in my opinion. Any other team in the state she would be starting on based on what I've seen. She drops dimes. She's a dog on defense. She wants to play defense. Right. She's going to get her school paid for, her college paid for because she's that person.
Right.
And so Izzy Ellithart also, what she was, for me, Berkeley popped off, had 28. Izzy Ellithart was the best player in the district championship game. In my opinion, it's hard to say that with what Berkeley did, but how Izzy started the game, the energy, she looked like she was moving different. Yep. And I wasn't there. I was watching on my phone while watching my daughter's game, and you were texting me keeping me updated. But man, they are loaded. They are physical. They are strong. They can all shoot the ball. Yep. And then of course you got Taya Nelson, who's a college basketball player, Trinity Holsinger, Division I point guard. I mean, good luck beating Eagle. They're my favorite. I don't know if they're your favorite, but you've got them beating Madison. So let's move on to the next one. Can't wait for this one. Yeah. Brooksley Colvin, who I think is the state's, maybe the top female basketball player we will have seen by the time it's all said and done in the state of Idaho, based on the offers. Just got an NC State offer, who they were in the national championship in 2024. She just had a 44 ball she saw what Berkeley did, and she came back and said, hold on a minute. And that's kind of who she is. She's like, you're not going to one up me. And they lost in the semis last year in overtime to the state champs, Owyhee. So she's coming in with a different edge and a different vibe that Bora hasn't seen. But Kaya Davis is on the come up. Brindley Chase, Schneider, Howington, who's going to Walla Walla University. You got Cameron Cressall. You've got the freshmen. I mean, they're tough. Who do you got, bro, in this game? Because I'll share with you who I got. I got Eagle in the first game. Who do you got in the CDA Bora game?
For me, right now, with the momentum that their Coeur d'Alene has, is super hard for me to pick against them. However, the way that I look at how Bora is and that they have experienced adversity early, and then they lose to Rocky, they come back and end up beating Rocky to get to the state tournament. For me, that shows the toughness that the team has, and I feel like they're ready for what Coeur d'Alene has. And so I'm going to go with Bora. And the reason why is they're so well coached. They're going to be prepared. They're going to know exactly what to do to try to handle and slow down Brooksley Colvin. And for me, I'm just going to go, I'm a big SIC guy. I do root for everybody around the state, but it's always nice to see some of the people that I know, familiar faces, some people that I've trained. Carly Hall's over there at Bora. Want to see her play, really well and whatnot. So I'm going to go with the Bora Lions, but who do you think?
So listen, I'm just gonna move this real quick because DM is tripping out back there, and Strive is gonna need something to eat as well. And I don't want that to melt too much because that would be criminal to waste that. But just so the plate doesn't go flying, I'm going against what you're saying. I do not think Bora has seen anything like the animal that is Brooklyn Colvin. And unless you've seen her, I think it's really tough to deal with her. And and we were talking about how would you guard her before we started. How would you guard her? How would you guard her? I don't think it matters. I think you better hope she's not hitting shots. I better hope you better hope you get every rebound. She's going to get other girls open shots. And yes, they are going to need to make shots. She's going to need to get some support. When they lost to Eagle by 20, she scored 80% of their points. So somebody else is going to have to step up. You know, they have girls that have popped off and had big games. She makes the game easier for everybody, but she's going to have to average probably around that 40-point mark for them to, I think, to win the state championship. You're going to have to beat Bora, then you're going to have to potentially beat Eagle, and then you're going to have to see either an undefeated Rigby or Zoe Blackwell in the championship, or, you know what I'm saying, or a Boise team that we see can beat anybody, right? Because they beat Middleton and they can play with anybody. So I'm going with Coeur d'Alene because I am a believer and I want to see Coeur d'Alene play Eagle because of all of the things I've been hearing all year. And Eagle beat Coeur d'Alene, and we'll talk about that matchup in a minute if that happens. But I got Coeur d'Alene, and you have Bora, it sounds like. Yep. So we're not on the same page there, but and you've been right a lot this year, way more than I have. So we'll see what happens there. Let's jump down to Middleton and Timberline. Middleton getting Dawn Holman back. It seems like, you know, she's getting healthy. She needs to be healthy. They play your girl Lexi Moore, Emmy Swilly, the girls over at Timberline that they beat Rocky by 1 to get in. Nice win there. Who do you got in the 3-6 matchup, Middleton Timberline?
I got Middleton. And I've said it all year that Middleton is my favorite to win the state championship. The reason why that I'm choosing Middleton, though, now is because Timberline is not healthy. They got girls that have been sick, girls that have been out. And I've been really high on Timberline as well. But Middleton right now is playing with that fire again, and they needed it. They had their wake-up call, and now they're back. And so I'm going to go with Middleton. I think that Zoe Blackwell is one of the best players in the state. They're extremely well coached. They work harder than any team that I've seen. These girls are up early in the morning, putting in extra hours, extra time in the weight room, extra time on the court. And so for me, that's why they're my favorite right now, which it has changed. We'll talk about that here later. But they're my favorite to go from that side to get to the state championship.
Yeah, I'm going to go obviously with Middleton as well. Zoe Blackwell, defensive player of the year for us, right there for player of the year for us. I mean, obviously Berkeley Jones and what she averaged and what she's done as of late. Probably going to go with Berkeley Jones for our player of the year, but Zoe Blackwell's right there. She's a Division I point guard. She could very well be, because she led her team to 12-0 and outright league champs. And then of course they got upset by Boise with an injured Dawn Holman, who is, as we are seeing, as vital as a Theo Tong is to a Meridian. Someone that can shoot, can do other things, brings the energy, brings the physicality. Dawn Holman needs to be healthy for them, I think, to get to the final. But I got them winning this game against Timberline as well. I like Olivia Blackwell. I like the energy she brings. Stewart down low does some good things. She got some size. You got Eli Apple's little sister, Michaela, I believe it is Apple. She does good things. Gracie Coombs. They've got girls that can do some things. And can the Blackwell sisters and mom lead them to a state championship? We will see. But I've got Middleton in that game as well. But Emmy Swilly can go. Yeah. She has the skill set to go full takeover mode and take her team all the way to a state championship. I think that's in her. I genuinely think that's in her, like her size, her athleticism, her fadeaway game. If she flips the switch and goes to full takeover mode, and I'm the best athlete out here, and I'm going to prove it.
They're different. They're a different team. They're a totally different team. When she's playing like that, and which we've seen before, we've seen in her previous years before the injury, she's been one of the best players in the state. Yeah. And her and Lexi Moore together, that combo, that duo, man, they're tough to beat. And it's hard for me to just sit there and pick Middleton outright because I know what Timberline can do. Yeah. But from what I'm hearing and seeing is girls have been out, girls have been sick. Everybody, for whatever reason, is getting sick right now. Yeah. And that plays a factor. If we don't have everybody healthy, that changes how we think. That changes, the outcome of the game. Big time. Okay, so let's hit on the last first round game. Number 2, Rigby, who is undefeated on the year, plays number 7 Boise, who we saw upset Middleton, and Chatfield hit 4 threes, and Nelson hit 4 threes, and Nia Pellin Latham was dominant down low and on the glass. And then they've got all these pieces, these girls that star in their roles, like we've talked about, Leah Powell.
You've got Scarlett Meyer. You've got Ashlyn Waldrum, the California transfer, who gets so many paint touches and finds these shooters. She's underrated, and she'll be back next year for this young team. So I really like Boise. Rigby, Kinsley Larson, one of the top players in the state. If they go win the state championship, she's that dark horse to be in the Gatorade Player of the Year conversation. Undefeated in the state championship. Kinsley Larson, the Alaska Anchorage commit, is still in that conversation with Brooksley Colvin and Berkeley Jones, a true dark horse. But realistically, if they go win the whole thing, we got to talk about that. And then, of course, they got little Barber, Cambry Barber's sister, Bailey Barber. The Barber family got dogs. Carson Barber years ago took his boys to the semifinals at Rigby. Shout out to Carson Barber. Then Cambry Barber's playing at BYU. She's playing with Brindley Cannon out there from Shelley. So the girls at Rigby know how to play. They're physical. They're tough. Those kids out east always are. Right. They're not afraid of anybody up north or out here. And they're undefeated, and they don't anticipate losing. But I'm going with Boise because I saw a different edge. Kinsley Larson's not going to be happy with that, but I gotta see it to believe it after what I saw with Boise and how Boise's going to respond to that Eagle loss. They know what Eagle is. Those girls all play club together. Those are all Meta Hoops girls. They know, but Boise also knows if we see Eagle again, we can beat Eagle if we shoot the ball well enough. And Burke doesn't hit 5 threes in a quarter, which is becoming the norm. But I got Boise in the black uniforms in the late night game, round 1, upsetting undefeated Rigby. That's me. How about you?
Yeah, that's a spicy take.
That's a spicy take. IK PICA, shout out Miss Carla.
So for me, I'm going to be honest, I'm going with Rigby. And I'm going with Rigby because I think their momentum is going to continue. Kinley Larson has showed, obviously, that she's one of the best players in the state, and I think that she's going to lead them and get the job done. I do think that maybe this loss that Boise just had to Eagle might have derailed them, might have derailed their morale. Their team might have a little bit of negative energy right now just off of what had happened during that game. I think that might play a factor in this game. So, and I think Rigby's hot right now, and not saying that Boise's not. I know that they could probably, like you said, make it pull off an upset. But looking at Libby Nelson, that's the player I want to challenge. She, to me, has got all my respect now from seeing what she did to Middleton to seeing how she started the district championship off against Eagle. To me, she's one of the best players in the state, and I've seen it firsthand. She did it right there. Of course, I watched her, and she's a dog. She's playing hard. She's getting steals. She's getting blocked. She had a nasty block, and she just plays with that swagger. So if they're going to get it done, it's going to be because of what Libby Nelson does.
Yeah, I actually can't believe you're going to pick against her because we saw how she feels when you pick against. Hey, but that's that edge you like though. Yeah. I see you trying to trigger her, and that's going to benefit me in my pick, I think. So I appreciate you, Coach. But no, Libby Nelson has been unbelievable. Once again, I've watched her since she was a 5th, 6th grader, and she's just continued to develop. Always been a good shooter, and she's a dog. Yeah, she's a dog. I was surprised when I watched her. I was gone for the last year and a half. And I came back and I was like, oh, Libby's a senior this year. And then she went against Middleton. I was like 25 on Middleton and the Blackwell sisters. And oh, man. So I'm excited to see what they can do. They can really get going shooting the ball. And then Pellant Latham down low. Yeah. I believe Libby's averaging 13, Chatfield's at 13, and Pellant Latham is at 14. So that trio with all the girls around them that star in their role, like I said, and the edge and how pissed off they're probably going to be after that Eagle game, I'm going to go with them. But that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a fun one to watch. So let's move on. So you got Eagle and Bora then in round 2, not Coeur d'Alene. That rematch not going to happen. Eagle Bora rematch is going to happen for you. What's going to happen there for you? Because Bora beat Eagle last time, and then Bora was looking forward to that rematch. Might have overlooked Rocky in the district tournament, got upset, didn't get to see Eagle again, but they might here if they can find a way to hold down Brooksley Colvin. You got Bora and Eagle. What's going to happen?
So for me, I'm looking at Eagle yet again because I think this is another ship that they have to right. So for me, I think with Eagle, what they're going to do and how they're going to respond, they'll be prepared. I think the first time that they played, I think some outer things were affecting their team and they were worried about other things other than the game. And the game was obviously the most important thing. And so for me, I think that now there's no distractions. After they win the district championship, I'm going over there to talk to them and they just say the job's not finished. And, Kobe Bryant said that. And if they're going to take and embody that mentality, then watch out. Yeah. Because if they're this hungry and this fiery and this competitive right now, I got girls on the team text me to work out, get in this week. I can't go against them. I can't pick against them. So I'm going to go with Eagle.
And listen, that would be a fun game to watch because Berkeley Jones versus Kaya Davis, soon to be club teammates, which them on the same club team is going to be fun to watch. Can't wait to see them play together. That would be a great matchup, especially Bora beat them at Eagle.
Yep, correct. At Eagle.
Yeah. So it looks like Eagles on the Let's Right the Ship tour.
Yep.
Right? They got Boise and then they got Madison and then you got them with Bora and then it sounds like you may have them with Middleton. We'll talk about that in a minute. That'll be a Right the Ship tour for them. I got Eagle and Coeur d'Alene. And there's been conversations about this a lot this year with some of the Eagle parents. You know, I've talked to Brooksley and her family and they know what Eagle is.
Right.
Brooksley flat out was like, oh, they're so tough. They're so different. They have so many pieces. She knows, which excites me because it means she knows what she's going to have to do to handle that, which I want to see. I want to see Berkeley Jones, Brooksley Colvin, state semis, winner to the ship. But, you know, they got to take care of business against Bora. Eagles got to take care of business against Mia Walsh and the girls in Madison. But Brooksley Colvin, Ryan Ellsworth, Taya Nelson, Izzy Elitharp, Berkeley Jones, like, are they going to be able to slow her down enough? Once again, this is my pick. You pick Bora, but I have said I'm going to go with Eagle because I said Eagle should win it. Eagle should win the state championship with their depth, with their rhythm, with all the players they've got, with the way things are going. But I want to pick Coeur d'Alene. I want to pick Coeur d'Alene. Okay. My heart is telling me Coeur d'Alene. My head is telling me Eagle. And that's nothing against Eagle because I think Eagle should win it. I'm telling everybody right now, but Coeur d'Alene can beat them because Brooksley Colvin is like that. And when you have a player like that, you can beat anybody on any given day, period. And I'm sure you were that type of player as well. So you can understand that. And I have so much respect for her. And I think Eagle knows that. I think they know what it's going to take and you've got to make other people beat you. And I think they have enough high IQ defenders and physicality and stuff to do that. So I'm going to take Eagle in that game. So I have Eagle going to the state championship as well. So Middleton, and for you, it's Rigby. Middleton, Rigby for you. You got Zoe Blackwell, Kinsley Larson in that semi. Who you got?
And I'm going to go with Rigby.
Really?
And change. And here's why. Here's why. I think that the size that Rigby has is going to give Middleton some issues. Mm-hmm. So, with how they play with Kinsley Larson, and I just think the momentum they're going to have, that'll be another game. And they're still, undefeated. They'll continue to use that momentum to get past Middleton. And I feel like Middleton with Dawn Holman being hurt, I feel like that changes, and she is back, but she isn't quite the same player from when we watched from the beginning of the year when she was healthy and she was firing all cylinders, and they were a lot tougher than that. It is hard for me to pick against Middleton because they were my favorite. They've been my favorite every episode until obviously this one. But I just feel like how they've played hasn't been quite the same. Mm-hmm. Their energy, even though their effort is there from the work that they put in, their energy hasn't been quite the same just because of the Dawn Holman injury. If she would have never got hurt, they would still be my favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Rigby.
Yeah. I am going to disagree, and I am going to go with Middleton. I picked Boise. And I do think if Middleton plays Rigby, I think whoever wins the Battle of the Glass will win that game. If Rigby gets past Boise, I think they have the ability to beat Middleton, but I would pick Middleton in that game because I think Zoe Blackwell would hold down Kinsley Larson and the scoring would need to come from elsewhere. And I don't know if they would have enough, but Holman being, we don't know where she's at. That would be a very fun game. I would go with Middleton that game. Middleton, Boise, I don't think Middleton allows Boise to do to them what they did last time. And Boise hit 3 after 3, like high percentage, shot over 50%. Multiple girls had 4 threes. With Holman being present and at that point it's all or nothing. I don't know if I see Boise beating Middleton back-to-back times in a couple weeks. And so I would probably go with Middleton in that game. not to upset Libby Nelson out there at Boise High, but you proved it once against Middleton. You're going to have to prove it again, because I think they're getting more and more healthy. And Zoe Blackwell is the type of dog where, they got us last time, I'm not letting that happen again.
Right.
And so that's why I got Boise winning that first round game against Rigby, because I think those girls are the same way. But, and I think they go into that Middleton game pretty confident, but I'm going with Middleton, on the big stage in that game, to go to the state championship against Eagle. So let's hit the state championship game. You've got Eagle versus Rigby, 1 versus 2. Where are we going?
I'm going with Eagle. I'm going it all. Eagle for everything that I've said before. I think that Burley Jones has her best game yet. And I think that she's going to carry and do everything that she can to make sure that they don't go home the same way they felt last year. I feel like all of those girls have felt the pain, and they've used that motivation throughout this whole season from last year. They're 2-0, and when they're doing it for their coach. Coach Monroe is one of the best people that I've known and been blessed to be a part of in doing the strength and conditioning for Eagle for the last 2 years. What a great guy that cares for his players so much. And for me, these players are rallying behind him, and they have his back, and for me, that's why they've been a team that I've known can do it, and that I'm a big believer in. And those girls obviously know how I feel. I love all of them, but I'm choosing them because of how Coach Monroe has handled this team, how he's played these girls, and how he's got these girls to buy into what he's doing and what they're doing, and how they're together, their culture. And these girls truly care about each other, and that's why I'm going to choose them. On top of that, Rigby beat them last year and set their season, the end of their season. Yeah. So for me, this is all coming back full circle for them to, like you said, right in the ship tour. And I feel like they're just the team that can do it.
Yeah. And like you said about Coach Monroe, we'll touch on that a little bit. What he's been through, what he's gone through. He has had a true Shigon attitude, and he's bettered himself, and he's had everybody rally behind him, because everybody knows who Jeremy Monroe is. He is the guy that you want to surround your kids with. It takes a village to raise these kids. I've got 4 kids. You're about to have one. Can't wait for little Capri to get here. Who you surround your kids with is so vital. And Jeremy Monroe, if you ask around town, not just the Eagle girls from other teams, parents from other teams, is the type of guy that you want your kids surrounded with, because you know what you're getting from, from a relationship standpoint, from what he's going to instill, the way he interacts, and just the selflessness that oozes from him, and the love and everything he does, man. And just can't shout him out enough. And I'm not going to sit here and say Jeremy deserves it. But what he's been through and gone through, I'm so happy for him to win the district championship. And if they win the state championship, I would be so happy. It would be emotional. I care about him so much, and he cares about others so much. He's the type of guy that you want to get that experience because of everything he's been through, the garbage he's been through. We all go through things, but people have really the community, yourself, have really rallied around him and lifted him up and encouraged him, which is what we're all about, and helped him get through difficult situations. And the light always cuts through the darkness, always, and it always will. I'm so happy for him that he got that district tournament. Now it's time to go win the one that matters. And I am picking Eagle to beat whoever they play. Right. It doesn't matter who's on the other side of the bracket for me. If they can get past Coeur d'Alene or Bora for me in that semifinal, I think it's going to be a situation that the Coeur d'Alene girls a couple of years ago, when Brooksley Colvin won a state championship with her older sister Tegan, when they beat Avery Howe in that semifinal, and they got to the state championship game, and it didn't matter who was on the court. We already know who we are. We know what we just did, and it was a wrap. And they did it the year previous with Maddie Simmons and Tegan Colvin when they beat Avery Howell. When she was a junior, they got that Rocky Mountain team, and it was a 40-point state championship game. It was over. So I think Eagle is in the same situation, like you said, the Right to Ship tour. If they win that semifinal, then I think they go to that state championship game, and I think but listen, if they play Middleton, you got to right that ship. If you play Rigby, you got to right that ship. Either way, how Can you sustain this Right to Ship tour emotionally? And 3 games in 3 days, we saw them do it down in Phoenix in the Tournament of Champions. Coeur d'Alene did it as well. They proved they can win 3 games in 3 days and win a tournament. But I think the Eagle girls, I think this is the year. I think, and I think it's the start of something special, because I think next year is going to be, something special potentially as well.
Yeah.
But they got to get it done. It's not over yet. Don't be, don't feel good about what you accomplished. Let it instill more confidence in you, and go do it, ladies. Go do it. I coached at Eagle for years. My wife was a volleyball coach there. We know a lot of these girls since they were little, and go do it, ladies. We are rooting for you, but we are rooting for everybody, but we have relationships there.
Right.
We're going to be happy for whoever wins it. We're going to show you love. We'll dap you up, but I think Eagles got it this year. So go get it, ladies, and we'll see what happens. But it's not going to be easy. Right. It's not going to be easy. So let's transition to our next course. We're going to be talking about the bros. We're going to go to the 6A SIC and talk about, let me grab my mom's printed this out for me before. She got the XL because I'm not wearing my reading glasses. I'm 40 years old now. But we're going to bring out the bros here. Speaking of the bros, we got a couple of what CHURRO Bros calls the bro. Oh my goodness gracious, Key. Don't you dare.
Yeah, no, I know this one's.
Don't you dare.
This is different. This shirt, bro.
God. Sheesh. So this is what we call the bro. You got your flavor of ice cream, my daughter's favorite, the orange, like Maui sherbet here. And then you get to choose what type of topping or flavor you want to go on top of the 2 churros that you got in there. You got oh my goodness gracious, over here. You got Biscoff, we got all the different flavors. They got Biscoff, they got Bavarian cream, they got the dulce de leche, they got Nutella, raspberry, strawberry, cream cheese. I mean, it's a wrap. You come in here, you putting on a couple LBs, but then you go work out with Key and it don't matter. He'll work them off. It's just like, what a cycle we have out here, folks, in the Treasure Valley for you. It's unbelievable. But these are the bros, and let's go to the bros. We got a lot to talk about here. Yeah. We got the SIC District Tournament 6A. 5A doesn't start till a little bit later. We'll hit that. Once again, tap in every Monday night to Key's Corner. Going to be a lot to talk about there as well. But listen, Ridgeview beats Boise. The 10 seed beats the 7 seed. The Boise Brave are out. Team at the start of the year, 10-0. Potential state champion with Harrison Bell. He goes down. Luke Soltau gets hurt. 2 of our top 8 player of the year watches go out with injuries, and it shakes Boise up a little bit. They can't get out of the playing game. We got Ridgeview, who now plays Hawaii, the 1 seed Hawaii, 8 seed Ridgeview. Then we got Meridian 4, Timberline 5. Timberline beat Meridian earlier this year at Timberline. Point guard Cole Hudson is out. We'll touch on that. And then Centennial will play Mountain View. Mountain View got down 20 in the playing game at home to their boys at Rocky. A bunch of friendships there, and Mountain View storms back. Big Chevy, another massive double-double. Tolman, Harris doing their things, double figures. They come back. They get the 7 seed, and they play Centennial, a matchup that we saw a couple weeks ago that we'll talk about as well. And then CUNA gets Capital. Quincy Clay, 30-footer, tied a game at Capital, sends it to overtime, and Capital ends up winning in overtime over the 11 seed Eagle. Almost a massive upset. But Quincy Clay said, not going out like that. That's literally what he messaged me. He goes, we can't go out like that. There's way too much more basketball to play. So here we go, Key. We got the bros, Hawaii, your boys, versus number 8 Ridgeview, our boy Coach Hoyt. We said they would get one at some point, and they waited till the lights were bright. They went to Boise, tough place to win. They beat Boise. What are they going to do against your boys at Hawaii?
Well, for me, it's just, I'm happy for Coach Hoyt. Love what he's doing over there at Ridgeview, and shout out to them to getting to this point. But this is where the road ends. And playing against Hawaii right now with how they've been playing since they lost Meridian, they have been on a flamethrower. They've been smashing everybody. And to me, they are my state's favorite, regardless of who they play.
Yeah.
They just kind of been smacking everybody around. So I'm going to go with Hawaii in that game.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Hawaii. Super excited that Coach Hoyt and his boys get this experience. How do you get better? You play against better competition. You give yourself those experiences that you can grab from down the road. And this is what Ridgeview's doing. Winning that game on the road, huge game, win or go home. They win that game against Boise, full of senior guards, potential college basketball players. Eli Rich is a Division I college wide receiver. You know, Will Gebbert's a college football player, could be a college basketball player. Soltal as well. Isaac Thacker is going to play college basketball. Like, they've got guys, and Ridgeview goes and beats them, and now they get to go play the number 1 team in the state in the first round of districts, and they get to have that experience. And they listen, they're going to play hard. You got the young guard, Yarmarillo. You got Brock Bastian, who's an all-league performer, and he solidified that with that win at Boise. And then you've got Malvini, you've got Josiah Skeen, you've got a bunch of guys who have bought into what Coach Hoyt's doing, and they get this experience. And I think we will look back down the road at this episode and this conversation, because Ridgeview is going to be a problem next year. They're going to be there. They're going to be in the mix next year with Bastian back and Yarmarillo and these guys. So congratulations, Coach Hoyt and the boys, but Waihe's not going to, they're not going to be congratulating you at all. They're going to bring it, and they're going to show everybody that they are ready to go. They've been waiting for this, and here we go. So number 1, Waihe beating Ridgeview for me. Let's jump over to a little rematch. Not as well, actually, I'm not going to go there because Meridian, the 4 seed, Theo Tong. Where is he health-wise? We don't know. We have not seen him as healthy or play as well as he did before the calf strain. So where is he at? We will see. Timberline, the 5 seed, who beat Meridian at Timberline. Timberline got up 21, and Meridian cut it to, I believe it was 2 or 3 with a minute to go. And Colin Morris hits a 35-footer to stick the dagger in. Cole Hudson is out. The point guard, the senior point guard, who is the other part of the state's top shooting duo. Right. He's out until state is what I'm hearing, if they can get to state. So Theo's out for Meridian, not necessarily out, but hasn't been the same. We haven't seen the same Theo yet. Cole Hudson's out. Who do you got, Meridian, Timberline? And be careful, because we are at Churro Bros with a Hope family. So,
well, to me, to be honest, this game is not at Timberline, in which we've said they have the best home court advantage in the state. It's not there though. And with Cole Hudson out, and that's one of the top shooters in the state, now it's Meridian's time. And for me is, how do they guard Drake? Drake killed him last time. What are they going to do now? And he's been on a heater as of late and all season, averaging 27.5 a game. He does so much for them with what he's going to bring to the table. And not only him, what they have from Bear Wright, and what they have from the X-Men, what they have from Sammy Khan. Let's challenge Sammy right now. What are you going to bring to the table? What are you going to bring for them? Are you going to bring your shooting and your 15, 5 threes, your 19 that you can fill it up? Are you going to bring that? That's what they need if they want to go and win it all. So for me, I'm going to go with Meridian.
I'm going to go with Meridian as well, because Cole Hudson is out, and because it's not at Timberline. And also I pray Theo is in a place where he can give it his all. Yeah. He's a kid I've coached in 6th grade. He's family, and this is what those guys, him and Cam Fisher, my guys, have been waiting for, been talking about since they were in 6th, 7th grade. Oh, when we're senior year, all these kids are always senior year. And now they got guys like Drake Hope on the team, and Riker Hansen and Keanu and these younger guys. What a group they have. They're as deep as a Waihe, in my opinion. Maybe not as many high level guys necessarily, or the size with Braylon and Reed, and we're not going to bring up Luke Reed quite yet, but that's an ace in the hole we'll talk about when we get to state. Right. But Meridian, I think, in this game, because Cole Hudson not being there, and once again, not at Timberline. Even if it was at Timberline, without Cole Hudson, I'm taking Meridian, even if that's Timberline. But with Cole Hudson, this is a different conversation potentially, because Meridian has been kind of up and down lately. They do have, I don't like saying good losses, but the teams they've lost to in league, they lost to Centennial on the road, CUNA on the road, and Timberline on the road. They lost to seed 2, 3, and 5 on the road, and they weren't blowouts, and
they're all winnable games.
All winnable games. So Meridian's there. At the start of the year, we talked about Meridian needing to close games, losing at Boise, almost blowing the game at Mountain View when they were up 11 in the 10 or 12 in the 4th. And so who are they? We're going to find out. They're going to need Theo. Sammy Khan is going to need to show up. And Sammy Khan is going to need to understand something. I love Sammy Khan. I love every time I see him, he makes me smile. He needs to understand, we know you can shoot. We know you're one of the best shooters in the state. How else are you going to impact winning? We know that you're a Division I level shooter, But how else are you going to because a lot of guys can shoot the ball. A lot of guys that are 6'5" that can do what you do. How else are you going to impact winning?
Right.
How are you going to encourage and uplift your teammates? Those are the things I want to see. Those are the leadership qualities in a point guard, in a true guard, a combo guard, whatever you want to call yourself, that is needed. Right. And they have that with Marcus Murray does it in his own way. Drake is doing it in his own way. But at the guard position, at the point guard, a guy that has the ball in his hands often, how can you impact winning and make the guys around you better, encourage them, uplift them? I want to see that. Because if he does that, then we start talking about what level basketball you can play at.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So shout out to Sammy. Fill it up, bro. Bring the strap, flamethrower, whatever you want to call it. Sammy Khan is a difference maker. So, and I think they're going to need him to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And that, as first things first, beat Timberline. Right. And he's going to need to play well. Because against Timberline last time, I'm throwing this stat out. He was 3 for 3 with 9 points. All 3 shots were threes. He did not take a shot until the end of 2 minutes left in the third. And then he hit 2 in the fourth. Changed the game, and that's when they came back. You could see what happens when Sammy isn't Sammy. They get down 21, then all of a sudden, Sammy, boom, we back in the game. Come back 21, could have won the game. So shout out to Sammy Khan. Do your thing, baby. Keep hooping. We go to the other side of the bracket. Centennial Mountain View, a game we saw last week. Henry Johnson, 15 and 16, sets a school record for rebounds. Big Chevy had 9 and 12. He had a big game. Tolman played well. Can Mountain View beat Centennial? I think they can. I don't think they will. I think they need to prove it. So I'm taking Centennial. Who are you taking, Centennial, Mountain View?
Me too. I'm taking Centennial too. And it's hard for me to pick against the Mountain View guys. Those are all my guys. But right now, with what Gabe Edens is doing and what he did against CUNA, I can't pick against him. I can't pick against Henry Johnson and those guys and Toten Newton. Like, for me, watching every single time they've had a close game, they have answered. They have played from behind in almost every game and came back and more. And so for me, I can't pick against Centennial. They're good in the clutch. They have the closer. To be the best closer, Gabe Edens that can score at any point from anywhere. And that CUNA game goes 7 for 7 in the fourth quarter in OT to bring it home. And so for me, they're right now, they're on a tear. They've been riding high on all the close wins that they've had. And so I'm going to go with Centennial.
Yeah, it was unbelievable to watch those two seniors, Henry Johnson and Gabe Edens, not allow them to lose that game because the team we're going to talk about next and we're going to show the love to next is absolutely real and a state title contender in CUNA. So for them to do that against CUNA, who once again we'll talk about here in a second, was unbelievable. And then Newton still had 19, a quiet 19. And he knew Gabe was going and he was finding Gabe and he was where Gabe at. Boom. I saw the play where he caught the ball and he ball faked to Gabe and the guy didn't jump and he could have given it to Gabe who was going, and he came back and he hit the 3 and he hit it. And first thing he did was turn to Gabe and say, "Hey, I missed you." And they popped each other. And I was like, oh, the chemistry is there. That 3-headed monster. I don't care what anybody says. That's the top trio in the state. You're not going to convince me otherwise because people just flat out don't know how good Henry Johnson is. He's in the player of the year conversation, first team all SIC guy conversation. I mean, he changes. And you ask anybody, including all those guys' parents and all those guys, Henry changes it all. He's a straw that stirs the drink. He makes life easier. Dude, at 6'4", rebounding the ball against Manny Chubb, Jackson Edwards, Bridger Barris, Cooper Patterson, Drake Hope, having to go up against these guys as a guard. Right. A guy that could play the 1, right. Guy that's guarding Logan Hosfight, right. And then getting 16 boards in a game and 10 steals in a game. Like, Henry Johnson does everything above average, elite when it comes to the SIC, elite. What does he not do well? He steals, he blocks shots, he defends, he assists, he makes the game easier, he encourages his teammates, he's a leader, he can pop off for 20 plus. We've seen him do it multiple times. So they're unbelievable. I'm not picking against them. But Mountain View can absolutely win this game, and I think it's going to be a close game. Yeah. And I don't think Cooper Patterson is too happy about the conversation we had the other day at BK talking about, Big Chevy and Henry. They're club teammates. They're boys. They respect each other. They love each other. But Cooper Patterson shows up, and he keeps Henry off the glass and dominates the glass like we've seen him do at a first-team all-SIC level all year. Then when Centennial doesn't rebound, we see what happens. We saw what happened against Hawaii when they weren't rebounding. They were average. Right. So Kurt needs a rebound. Henry needs to continue to do what he does. Gabe needs a rebound. Tobin needs a rebound. We had that conversation. I had that conversation with Tobin. He said, "Hey, what can I work on?" I said, "Oh, you better go help on the glass.
All that bounce.
You better go help on the glass." He goes, "Got you." So Tobin Newsom's focused, locked in, but I got Centennial in that game. That's going to be a fun one, I think. I will be at that game. And then CUNA, Capital. Capital gets there once again. Quincy Clay hits a 30-foot three to tie the game against Eagle. Last seconds. If he misses, their season's over. Eagle wins. Massive upset. But instead, Quincy Clay's that guy, and they got the momentum, and they're coming in, and they're playing against a team that they beat. CUNA lost to Capital this year. A bunch of club teammates, a bunch of guys that know each other well. Capital's not afraid of them. Who do you got in this game?
I got CUNA.
Yeah.
I got CUNA. I can't hit against CUNA because seeing what Manny Chubb did, Jackson Edwards, who's become one of my favorite players, how those guys competed, and Hendricks Castro and Bridger and those guys, what they did to Centennial and how they had them on the ropes, the games that they won, the big games that they've been a part of. I'm not picking against Manny Chubb. To me, if they leave him in with 4 minutes left, when he has 26, he scores his 26 point, he comes out the game. As soon as he came out the game, up 7, the game changed for them, and they ended up losing that game to Centennial. If he stays in the game, they win that game. So for me, I'm not picking against CUNA. I've just seen what they can do. They are tough. They talk that spicy, nasty talk. And for me, that gives them an edge. That puts them in a team that puts them against teams that if they're not able to talk that, or if they can't back up their talk, then you're not going to do well against CUNA. They have chippiness. They have scrappiness. They're guys that can crash. They have athleticism. They have size. They have everything that needs to be a team that could potentially win the state championship. And both you and I became really high on them after we've seen them play against Centennial. Even though they lost, what they have and what they bring to the table, CUNA's will be a tough out. So I'm picking that.
And you're right. That's a spicy take about them spicy boys over at CUNA. I'm going to put this over here because we can't waste these. DM, you got to finish these two also, or you put them in a freezer and I will handle those afterwards. Yeah. He can't keep his eyes off those. Yeah. Shout out CHURRO Bros, man, doing it different. So I'm going to go with CUNA in this game as well. I think they right the ship. What I saw from them, first of all, withstanding a Drake Hope 25 ball and winning that game in overtime. Super impressed by that. And then really wanted to see what they were about over at Centennial. And boy, oh boy, they are scary. I do not want to see them at the state tournament. I don't want to see them in a district tournament. Once again, I'm excited for that game to see if Capital can stay in it with them and beat them again or make it a game, because they got the shooters in Everhart and Stafford and Dudley and Lowe. I mean, they better rebound the ball, and you better keep track of Bridger Barris, because the way him and Jackson Edwards play together, when Jackson Edwards gets that paint touch and he elevates, you're not jumping with him because he's 6'5", and if you ball watch, Bridger Barris has such an unbelievable feel of paying attention to where his defender's looking. And if he sees if his guy is watching Jackson work, he slips to the other side, layup, slip, layup, slip, layup, slip, layup. And I talked to Drake Hope the other day, and he said, no, Bridger Barris killed us with his IQ off of Jackson Edwards, who high praise from Drake Hope said Jackson Edwards might be the best hooper he's played against on the season so far. In that particular game, he said Jackson Edwards was killing us, and Bridger had more points than he did and more rebounds than he did, but Jackson was dropping dimes, getting to the hoop, dunking on people. So high praise from potentially the state player of the year, the SIC player of the year, talking about these CUNA guys as well. But CUNA, man, Bridger Barris, Bauer Barris, Hendricks Castro, Coulter Hoffler, Amari Vasquez off the bench, gave him an edge, hit some threes, played with some swag. They're tough. They're not afraid of you. They want the smoke. Hendricks Castro dropping dimes and letting you know about it, flexing on people. And then, Tobin Newton responds with a dunk, get in your face, show me another side of Tobin. But, Hendricks respected it. He took it and kept coming. So an emotional group that has continued to grow. Coach Bookin needs to be talked about as state coach of the year, SIC coach of the year, which we'll touch on later. But man, what a job he's done in the first year since Paul left. Paul brought the guys over, did a great job changing the culture. And Coach Bookin, what a hire over there. Shout out to the AD and those guys over there for this hire. Cause man, from the first game of the year when me and DM went and watched them play Eagle, they were down 11 with 2 minutes. First game, it takes a while to click. You're trying to figure out new coach, new system. Who are we? They clicked at the end of the game and just kept on winning. Maybe a bad loss to Ridgeview, but Ridgeview's got guys that they can get you. So they lose to Ridgeview. And so that's and then they lose to Capital at Capital. That can happen. They lose to Hawaii. Those are their 4 losses. Those are not bad losses. And now we've got a CUNA team who they lose a Centennial in a game that they probably felt they should win, and we saw what they were about, dude. And they let's continue because there's more to say about CUNA. You got a Hawaii Meridian round 2 rematch. Hawaii's only lost in the state of Idaho ever at home to this Meridian team. Theo was huge in this game. He ended up hitting the game winner. Drake finds him on a curl. Theo catches, head fake, step over, blow, ends up winning the game. Who you got here?
Me, I'm going to be honest. I feel like this will be another close game. I feel like this will be a dogfight. And this is one of those games where it's going to come down to, it's not really going to be so much the players, it's to be the coach of them. And who's going to out-coach who in these big moments. Typically in the past, Meridian has got it done. This year, I'm going to choose a little different because I feel like Logan Hospite is going to be hungry and be ready. The first thing he did after that loss against Meridian was say, hey, let's get into the gym. And we got into the gym from 10 to 12 midnight and got working. And they've been on a tear since. So I'm a little white.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is going to be easy. This could be whoever has the ball last. This is going to come down to who wins the glass. Who wins the glass, who brings the toughness. What Meridian does really well, what they've always done well against Hawaii is guard.
Yeah.
And they're always prepared. Jeff Sander, to me, arguably one of the best coaches in the state of Idaho. He always has those guys ready to rock. Yeah. Nicole being one of the best players in the state, regardless of class, he's going to have those guys ready to rock. Theo being hurt, that makes it a little different.
Yeah.
And then, just going off of the morale of the season, that's why I'm going to pick with Hawaii. Hawaii right now is on a tear.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be excited to see Meridian and right that ship going into, the district title game. If they win this game, Theo, and Sammy need to be who they are in this game. Where is Theo at? We don't know. We're going to find out. Drake, last time I had 9 points, 12 rebounds, I believe 6 or 7 assists in that game, flirting with the triple double. He's going to need to be, I think, a little bit more assertive offensively in scoring, especially with Theo's situation and Sammy's got to find that rhythm. They did a good job corralling him. Hawaii did, but they're so good defensively with Jordan Allen. And then you got Kanan Magnus who wants to defend. He's going to NNU. Obviously, he's a high level basketball player. And you got Owen Brown. You got Owen Brown over there who he's a dog. He's one of the best shooters in the state. And ever since they've implemented Braylon Larson, cause Braylon didn't play much in that game against Meridian, if you recall. They started implementing him a little bit after that, and he had a huge game at Centennial, was massive defensively, altering shots. Really like what he's brought, his edge. He's got a different swagger to him. I finally got a chance to meet him the other day and really liked the vibe and that I felt there. And so, I'm going with Hawaii in this game as well. If this happens, I would love to see them play again in the state tournament, because depending on where things go, where Theo's at and all that, totally different conversation. Will Sammy get going? I would like to see this game. I would like to see this semifinal matchup. Hawaii Meridian. I would go with Hawaii as well. Like you said earlier, they are my state favorite at this point until I see something different. I said at the start of the year, and I'm going to say it again. Can Meridian get you again? Because that would, if Meridian gets them again in the state that they are kind of in right now, trying to get back to that rhythm that they were in when they beat them, that would be wild. That would be a Keys Corner special edition episode in itself. But I got Hawaii in that game, and then I'm going to go down to the next game, which is our other semifinal, Centennial CUNA Game of the Year rematch. This game would be played at Capital, where I think it matters. Centennial beat Capital 81-50, and popped off. They're comfortable in that gym. CUNA lost at Capital and didn't necessarily shoot it great, didn't play great. I believe they lost 62-60 or 52-50, if I remember right. But who do you got? Centennial CUNA rematch in the semis to play at Waihe?
I'm going to go with CUNA this year.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because they were up 7. Matty Chubb comes out the game.
Yeah.
And the game checked.
At Centennial.
And they were answering every single punch that Centennial was throwing. They were right there all the way through the entire game. They have big wins. They have they have bad losses, but they have better wins than they do bad losses. Yeah. And so for me, they have something to prove. And they are here. They are real. That they know they bring a crowd with them. We've seen at the Centennial game between their student section and a whole section behind you. They have people that they travel well, and they'll be prepared. They'll be ready this time. It's hard for me to choose against Centennial because I believe in that trio so much, and I could see them get it done too. But the way that CUNA plays and how they're going to be on the glass, and knowing that Maddie has to be on the floor at all times, I think they'll make up for the mistake that they made as well.
Yeah, they gave Centennial serious problems on the glass. Wade Ginn, I want to give Wade over Centennial a shout out. He came in the game and had some huge rebounds, huge plays that led to the win, hit a huge 3 as well. If these teams play again, Centennial, if they don't rebound better than they did, I think they could get laced like in this game. They haven't gotten killed this year except for against Waihe when Henry was off the floor because of ticky-tack foul calls. And then they lost to a post-falls team that we could see at the state tournament by 6, who's very good team up north. But because you're going with CUNA, I am going to go with Centennial. I was going to go with CUNA. If you were going to go with Centennial, I am going with Centennial because I think Josh Oppersbach is going to see how that game went down. He switched things up late and they went to a zone. They were having serious trouble rebounding out of that zone though. So unless they figure out the rebound situation, I don't see them winning that game. But also CUNA shot the lights out. Yeah. Manny had 26. Jackson hit 4 threes. And that's not even Jackson Edwards' game. He's good around the basket, up and under, crafty, dropping dimes. And Bridger Barris was unbelievable in that game. They're really tough, and they're big and physical, and Centennial's not. They have three-headed trio of guards who could all be in the player of the year conversation, like I said. But because you went with CUNA, I will pick Centennial. And I want all the smoke with that because I think Centennial, as a 2 seed, has earned that. I think this is going to be a very difficult game for them. But like I said before, I think where the game is played matters. We've said that with Meridian, Timberline, and we've said that different times. CUNA's a tough place to win. Timberline went to CUNA and got blasted, didn't shoot it well. I think the familiarity with Centennial can be helpful in this game. You're not guarding Gabe straight up. I don't. They tried with Manny. They tried with Jackson. They tried with Britt. It's not happening. Tobin, you're not guarding Tobin necessarily straight up. And then Henry Johnson he just continues to go to a different place more and more. And so I'm going to go with Centennial because you went with CUNA. And because I want to talk about Waihe against both of these teams. I think that's appropriate. So district championship, Waihe versus CUNA for you. Waihe gave them the business at Waihe last time. I think if I'm picking this game, CUNA has to prove that they can play with them first. Yeah. I'm going with the Waihe against CUNA if they play each other. CUNA, because I think it was 68-47, or it wasn't close. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to go with Waihe again. For me, the reason why is that they have the size to compete with them. They have more than enough bodies to keep throwing in. On top of that, the shooting and the game planning is way ahead. And I think for that's what puts Waihe ahead is the culture that they built there and how hard those guys compete. They want it more than everybody else. They play harder. They dive on the floor for the ball. They all crash. They all rebound. They have so much chemistry between all the boot guards, all the athletic wings, all the posts. And for me, they have the size, they have the shooting, they have the culture in place. And so that's why I'll pick Waihe.
Okay, yeah, and I would go with the Waihe too in that game. But Waihe Centennial, I believe that the Centennial Patriots can win the state championship. And I think you're going to have to beat Owyhee to do so. So do I think they can beat Owyhee? Yes. In this game, do I think they do it? No, I don't think this is the one they do it in. I think if they see each other in the state championship, because if they both get the state, they will be on opposite sides of the bracket. And if they do get there, for me, it would come down to it's hard to beat a good team 3 times. But Owyhee is there every year. Centennial has never been to this group has never been to the state tournament. That could come into play as well. We'll see where we're at. But in this game, I think Owyhee wins this game, but I do want to see what this game would be like with Henry Johnson on the floor for an entire game, not out half of the game, because we see what happens when he's out from a rebounding standpoint and just everything, defensively, leadership, passing the ball, making the game easier, hitting open shots, because you can't double Gabe and double Tobin, and Henry's the one that's always left open. He's an elite shooter, just like his brother Weston was. He can hit 10 threes in a game. He is that type of shooter. So is Tobin. So is Gabe. You have 3 guys who can hit 10 threes in a game. Henry needs to be on the floor. And we need to get away from the ticky-tack. Shout out to the referees for the way they officiated the CUNA Centennial game. Let those guys play, and it was 83 to 76, and it was the game of the year. And they let them play. They didn't tee up Tobin for letting Hendricks know about it, and he calm down. Tobin gives a thumb up. We got the energy. Don't kill the flow. Shout out to the referees and the way they officiated that game. Phenomenal job. That's what we want.
Right.
Call it the right way. No cheap stuff, none of that, but let the kids play, because at the next level, it's going to benefit them that we let them play and play through things and she gone and all that type of stuff. So I got Owyhee winning the district championship, beating Centennial if they play again, but I don't think it's going to be 20 points if Henry Johnson's on the floor the entire game. I do not think it's going to be 20 ball. But yes, Owyhee is a team to beat in the state, not just in the SIC. So before we end, bro time here, 5 teams you think are going to get to the state tournament because 5 teams will make it. You've got Owyhee and you've got CUNA so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Owyhee, CUNA, Meridian. I got Mountain View and Centennial.
So you will have Mountain View beating Capital in that game over there, and then Meridian would cross bracket, play Mountain View. One of them would win, and one of them would move on and make that the fifth place, the last place game. And then you got Centennial. So Owyhee, Meridian, Centennial, Mountain View, CUNA. All right, I got Owyhee, Meridian, Centennial, CUNA, Mountain View. I'm going Mountain View because Mountain View I say that because I want to go Timberline. Cole Hudson's not there.
Yeah.
And so if they lose, they will play Ridgeview. I think they can get Ridgeview. The game will be at Ridgeview, though. I'm seeing right here. I think that's going to be a tough game for them. And then they would have to play, at that point, if they beat Ridgeview, they would play the loser of CUNA Centennial cross bracket game. I don't see them winning that game. Right. And they lost to both those teams. And without Cole Hudson, it's not happening. And then it would come down to them and either Meridian or them and Mountain View in that last game. And I think Mountain View wins that game. Like I said, and shout out to Colin Morris having an unbelievable first team All-SIC player of the year watch season. Right. They need Cole Hudson. And I hope Coach Noble shuts us up because he's done it before.
Yeah.
And he may do it again. And he's one of the best coaches in the state, hands down. So let's get into our last segment here. We've been going for a while. This is going to be a little bit longer episode. Shout out to the Hope family. Thank you for letting us be here as late as we are. It's late night, Sunday night. And I checked the clock and it's later than I thought it was. But there's a lot to talk about. And the ladies deserve the conversation with it being the state tournament. Lots to talk about. And we have to end this way with our final course, which will be out here in a minute. But we're going to start talking about our finalists because we've got the final course coming here that we want to show off for CHURRO Bros. Our finalists for a couple categories. And I'll put you on the spot with one you didn't know was coming. We're going to give our 3 finalists for SIC Player of the Year. 6A SIC Player of the Year. We're going to go our finalists for 6A Defensive Player of the Year. And we're going to go with 3 finalists for SIC Coach of the Year, which I'm going to put you on the spot. I like putting you on the spot sometime because, that's when the spiciness comes out. So as we wait for, it's ready. It's ready. Be careful this is what I order every time I come in. We got the triple option, which we got 3 churros with different sauces. This one is the Biscoff, the Bavarian cream, and the raspberry. So I'm going to finish that one once the episode's over. I got to hurry up here. And then we got the dulce de leche on the Big Daddy over here. So, and that one is right up here. We got the filled churro right here, and we got the triple option. We got the picture of that one over there. So, Key, hold on a second. Give us your final spicy takes. Let's start with SIC player. You want to do player of the year first or last?
We'll go player of the year last.
Player of the year last. Let's go defensive player of the year. You get 3 finalists. I've got 3 finalists as well. Go ahead. Give me your shouts.
Silas Crane from Saville, probably leading the state still.
Sophomore guard
Who's been locking up multiple guards, multiple 10-9 steal games. So I have him as one. Henry Johnson as another, who, as we talked about before, changes the entire game on that side of the floor, and it's just been an anchor on their defense and really carried him on the defensive end. And then I'm going to go Jordan out. He's on the number 1 defense in the state, and he's the best defender on that team. And so for me, he's a guy that deserves more flowers than hasn't got enough. See what he does, how he guards. He can guard multiple positions with his athleticism. He's very feisty. He's very chippy. He's one of those guys that I feel like gets overlooked, and he's one of the best defenders and best overall players in the state.
Yeah. Jordan Allen is one of the best athletes in the state, easily. I mean, I think he's going to give us what his brother Jace did, who's a Vanguard hooping as a freshman, getting minutes at the state tournament. I think we're going to see some serious highlights from Hawaii, and I think Jordan Allen is going to give us a couple punches at 6 feet tall, 6'1". Boy can fly, he can shoot it, but he'd rather find his teammates, high IQ, guard that can facilitate, can shoot it, but really just gets up in you and just eliminates you from the game, just takes you out of the game. And you're not going to outdog him either at all. I don't care who you are. You're right. Jordan is a kid that deserves his flowers, and he's getting offers. He's getting some college offers, and he's a college basketball player because of what he does defensively, and everything else is a cherry on top. And he is a above average guard offensively as well. In my opinion, he makes everybody better, and he's just a dog. So Jordan Allen gets his flowers for sure. Because you're going to pick my boy Jordan, shout out Elpedia and Chris and Jason, the family, very good family friends of mine. I have Elpedia, his mom's jersey. She set records at Skyview High School scoring. I got her Skyview High School jersey, and Jordan is a guy I would mention, but because you mentioned him, I'm going to mention somebody else, but also Silas Crane. I saw him have 11 steals at Eagle. He's their second leading rebounder, which defensively you need to get defensive boards. And a lot of it's, he does offensive boards, defensive boards, and he starts the break, gets Quincy the ball. Let's go. He's, an elite passer as well. That's offense, but Silas Crane for sure. Henry Johnson for sure. He'll guard Chabuka, who plays the 5. He'll guard Logan Hosfite, who's a Division I point guard. He'll guard, Drake Hope, who plays 1 through 5. So Henry Johnson has to be there as well. And he's just, the problem with this and something I'm going to shout out is when Henry Johnson has to guard on the perimeter, and it makes it more difficult for him to be near the hoop to rebound, it can affect, you see it affect them. And that is just another reason I think he's so important, because when he had to go out and guard Jackson Edwards and they pulled him away from the hoop, they couldn't get a rebound.
Right.
And CUNA just up 5, up 7, up 9, up 7, up 5, because they couldn't get a rebound. Offensively, they were torching. Gabe had 32, Henry had 21, and Tobin had 19. Those guys combined for 70 plus points, and maybe should have lost the game because CUNA pulled Henry out. Then Henry went to Manny because Manny started going. Right. It was late, and Manny slowed down a little bit, and then Jackson started going. But he was getting boards. He started rebounding. Right. And so it changed the game that way. So once again, Henry Johnson has to be talked about. He needs to be looked at, and he needs to be getting college basketball offers from somewhere. Right. Shout out NNU. Shout out C of I. These guys know what they're doing, but Henry Johnson is above average at everything, and he's special. So yes, Henry Johnson as well. listen, there's a bunch of other guys we could mention. And because you took Jordan Allen, I'm going to throw out a guy that was injured for 4 games. Manny Chabuka could be there as well, blocking shots, doing what he's done for CUNA. But I'm going to shout out Caden Swenson because he's a kid that barely made the sophomore team, then barely made the JV team, always in the gym, always grinding, just working on his game, and then just so much dog in him. He got it from his older brother Tanner, who I coached for a year. You know, Josh is a dog. That whole family, Eagle Ridge Apparel. I'm shouting Caden out, not because Eagle Ridge does what they do for us, but because Caden Swenson deserves his flowers. Yeah. Because 6 steals the other day in a game. He had 4 points, 6, but he's averaging 14, 15 a game. He was averaging 18 points a game before he had a snowmobile accident and was out 5 games, and they went down hard. Yeah. I don't know if they won a game while he was out. Yeah. And then he came back on a bum ankle and played Meridian tough at Meridian and almost got and just changed them. And then Brock went down. Right. And that was a huge loss for them. But Caden Swenson, 6 steals in the game. Against Boise, I saw him have 6 steals. I saw him have, every game I went to 5 of his games this year. Every game he had 5+ steals. He had block shot. He had 3 blocks against Boise. And he's this guy for so many years. Everybody just, Caden, just a little scrawny dude that shoots the corner threes. That is not who Caden Swenson is. Caden Swenson is a college basketball player because he doesn't get any plays ran for him. And he averaged double figures because everything runs through Sweeney and Brock, which it should have. But Sweeney is a top tier talent in the league, but Swenson is a sniper. Right. And he can pass the ball, but defensively he is top tier. And every one of these guys knows it. Theo, Drake, and Cam and me, we're all talking about it. Swenson's top tier defensively. You don't want Swenson guarding you. Right. You don't want him to guard you. And when you got some of the top players in the league and in the state, I don't want him on me. Right. I don't want Swenson chasing me around. That says something. And I want Caden Swenson to know that basketball is not over for you if you don't want it to be. You got guys here who are going to help you. And because of what you do defensively, being able to guard bigger guys and your effort and the dog in you and all that, love for the game, love for his teammates. He deserves his flowers. So I'm going to go with Caden Swenson there. Chabuka shout out as well. All those guys. Let's go. Coach of the year for you. 3 options. And we don't have to go into this because we can go into this more in depth, but I want to give you give me 3 names. I'll give you 3 names and then we'll jump over to player of the year and be done.
So I'm going to do CUNA's coach. I'm going to do Coach Josh at Centennial, and I'm going to do Andy Harrington at Hawaii. That's my 3.
And we will touch on this more later, and because we could talk about this all night. So I'm gonna go with Bookin over at CUNA, especially after what I saw the other day. I'm gonna go with Opper Spock because they hadn't made a district tournament in 2 years, and they look like they want to go win the state championship this year. And they got there. They got the auto bid, and then I'm gonna go with Jeff Sainer because I have to, because they're varsity young and they got a lot of guys coming back next year. He let those guys go early in the year, and he even told me, he goes, I'm letting this group go, and I got to watch and see for a couple weeks and see who we are, what we are, before I really jump into. And you know, Jeff's playbooks like this, and Jeff is in it and about it, and he let them go. And man, when they beat Hawaii, we're like, oh, Jeff, what are you doing? Jeff did it again. Yeah. And so I'm going to shout out Jeff. Obviously, Harrington, with all the transfers and everything, Andy could be up for coach of the year every year with all the rings and everything he's done. Shout out to him. He deserves his flowers, of course. And we'll talk more about this later. So let's jump over to the player of the year. And this may be our first ever hour-and-a-half episode. So hopefully y'all enjoyed. So player of the year, you get 3 guys. I think we're probably on the same page with this one based on our constant conversations. Everybody in the crowd got to hear it at BK last week when BK got up 20 on Middleton and it turned into a AJ and Key player of the year talk session. Who do you got?
So for me, I got Draco, I got Logan Hospite, and I got Gabe Evans. And the reasons why, with Drake has been killing it all season. To me, he's had the best overall SIC regular season up to this point, averaging 27.5 a game, around 10 rebounds, around 5 or 6 assists, multiple blocks, multiple steals. to me, the things that he's done, he's been a problem. I think he has 5 30-point games, 30-plus games, multiple crazy dunks from oops to regular posters to whatever you got. Whatever you want to call it, he got it. For me, he's had the best overall season. I go with Logan because Logan, to me, has done the most in the least amount of minutes, on top of leading the number one seed, leading them to a number one seed, playing 2.5 quarters for the entire conference schedule, averaging close to 20 points a game, multiple double-digit assist games. So for me, he's right up there. And then Gabe Edens, who is the reigning SIC Player of the Year, who has just, I call him the closer. He's the guy that if there's 1 second left on the clock, I give him the ball and we go home with a win. And so he's done that all year. He's been super efficient, more efficient than he was last year. I'm pretty sure he's averaging more points than he did last year. And for me, he's made the most growth of a scoring of a player that scores, and the primary role is to score. He's made the most growth with letting the game come to him, creating shots for his teammates, making players around him better because he's doing that. And then, the success is shown with Centennial being a 2. So those are my 3 guys.
Yeah, Gabe Edens for me is one. He is not the same player he was last year. He was a player of the year last year. He is improved and excelled and made guys around him better and taken notes and learned the game, watched the game. He here's his pops been working with you, and it's been unbelievable to watch. I've covered Gabe since he was in 6th grade. That rivalry that him and Logan have has been amazing, and they're buddies, and it's been great. And it would be unbelievable to see them meet up in a state championship game, to see how that story ended. But, for sure, Gabe deserves to be in that conversation. And for me, what he did against CUNA the other day and willed his team. And then he's emotional after him and Henry crying in each other's arms. The pain is deep in that situation because the love is deep. He loves the game, and he's grown and it's oozing out of him, man. And it's affecting other people. The way he loves the game is affecting his teammates. And that's so different. And you know what that is, because that's in you as well. Those type of things where you love it so much and you have to take a step back with, what can I do to be better for and to help other guys shine. And I saw it in an all-star game today. Kawhi Leonard had 31 points in 12 minutes, and they asked him afterwards. And I thought about Gabe, and they asked him, like, hey, you're playing with all these guys. You got LeBron cheering for you and Steph. And how's that feel? And he's like, all of these guys are greats, and they're greats because they see who the hot hand is. And they put their greatness on hold, and they let others shine. Right. And Gabe did that this year. Right. And that's special. And it gives me chills, bro, because he's going to get what he deserves, and it's coming. Right. So keep going, Gabe. And then, of course, Logan Hosfite. All the overrated chants, all the things this kid has gone through, from being maybe the best guard in the state as a freshman at Mountain View, beating Hawaii as a freshman at Mountain View, getting to the semis and missing a state championship game by a shot, by 2 points, and then transferring to Hawaii, where the situation's completely changed and started the transformation of who he is today, who is a special kid, a special point guard. He's gotten so much better in the area. Moving from Mountain View to Hawaii was the best decision for his future, because it changed the way he viewed the game, the way he sees the game, and the way he plays the game. He's always been the guy that can take over offensively like that. But Logan has grown in so many ways as a teammate and as a point guard, and what he's doing in half a game is stupid. If Logan Hosfite is on any other team in the league, he's the player of the year, and there's nobody else around him. We saw it as a freshman. I mean, if you give him 4 quarters to go do what he does, and we understand that.
2.5 quarters.
Yeah, no, that's silly. And his best games have been against the best teams in this. Leighton Christian, one of the top teams in the country with 10 Division I players. He had 21 and 8. And so anyway, Hosfite, and of course, Drake Hope, 27.5, 10, 6 assists, shooting 54% from the field. He's shooting 40% from 3. He's shooting 85, almost a 50-40-90 guy. Colin Morris as well. But Drake has been doing it. He's had guys around him get injured. He kept doing it. He's picked it up more. He's carried more when guys go down. He understands. And we called him out. And I told you behind the scenes before we even started the pod, I don't know if I told Drake the other day, I went out to eat with those guys and I said, I didn't know if you were going to be able to step in and not be passive and be like, no, this is my team. Like, get on my back. Let's go. And oh boy. And I apologized to him. I apologize, buddy, but I'm so happy for you shutting me up. Like, I'm so happy for you and where he's going and where he's taking it and what he's doing. Like, he got offers coming and all the good things are going to be coming for him. And he's a great kid, a great teammate, comes from a great family. Obviously, we're getting free churros right now. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Drake Hope. He's there as well. If not the favorite. And it's going to be really just a lot of fun for us. And I hope the community gets out and supports these guys, supports the ladies as well. The ladies deserve it. There's so many. The ladies have been holding it down for the last 5 years, Key, with all these Division I hoopers. Like, if we showed you the list, it'd go all the way up to the Churro Bro sign up here. There's so many D1 hoopers and college players. Libby Nelson at Boise's going to St. Martin's. That's a D2. You were shouting her out. I want to shout out that St. Martin's commit. That's big. But the boys as well. You said it earlier. We're blessed to be where we're at in Idaho with what's happening. These kids need to be seen. That's why we're doing this. And it's been great basketball and it's just getting started. The madness is here. The postseason is here. So I want to give Churro Bros a shout out. Anything else you want to touch on before we pop these?
For anybody that's watching, I want you guys to understand that these guys that we're talking about in this Player of the Year, it is a big deal. And these guys are a big deal. And these are 3 Division I level talented kids that deserve more opportunities. And it's not just this 3. A lot of the guys that we mentioned deserved recognition. They deserve recruitment. And for us, it's such a joy to talk about you guys and to use our resources that we have through the podcast, through the connections that we made over the course of our lives to give you guys opportunities for coaches to get a hold of you guys. And so for any of you guys that have aspirations and desires to play college basketball, you can use us as a resource, and we want to help make that happen if we can. And if we can just maybe plant a seed to one of these coaches and you guys water it by your play, then we'll do that. And we are solely here for you guys. We wouldn't be here without you guys. The podcast has grown exponentially from the time that we first started 2 years ago to now. And our whole focus is not even about us, even though we're loud personalities that make a lot of things, bring a lot of attention to us, but it's about you guys. And as you guys continue to make noise and the district tournament comes and the state tournament comes, basketball is not the end of everything. And as this season comes to an end, if you are disappointed with where you're at right now, put more time into the gym, put more time into your studies, put more time into self-development, growing yourself as a young human being that's going to impact and give back feedback, positive feedback to those around you. If you can give and be a light to others, God will bless you abundantly. And I hope that you understand that. So with that being said, we're out.
We out.